I never felt that I was ever really appreciated
By
at Norwich.
who?
By
Fans?
the club, by
Right.
the fans. There was probably myself and Russ were in the same boat where we were like, we're trying to drive the club on. And it was like, we're pushing one way and everyone else is pushing back. That's horrible.
Was it?
Horrible.
Were you like, oh my God, I've
Killed Dropper.
There's the title.
no,
That's the title. Oh my God, I've killed
It was
Dropper.
one of those things, to make it work, he was offside. He didn't even need to go for it.
Did you tell him he was offside when he was
Because
down?
he was unconscious. But I go training now, and my lad does training once a week at Colney, and I was up there Friday. And you see what's happening around the place with the building work going on and the infrastructure that's being put in place. That's what I wanted 5 years ago. That's what I was saying to Ricky Martin and David Manning. That's what we need. We need a proper base. Colney was 25 years out of date when we were training there. Where's the modernisation? You can't chuck porter cabins in and think, right, we're all rosy now. We're not. It's a porter cabin.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I said, if you don't accept an offer, I said, you don't accept an offer. I said, I'm not going to come back and kick my toys and chuck my toys out of the pram. I said, I will get on with it. I will be as professional as I have been. I said, I will work as hard every day as I have done. I said, and we'll just move on. I said, it's not a problem. I said, but I want you to know what I'm thinking. He said, no problem at all. So I went back pre-season and we were flying out to Austria. My name wasn't on the itinerary. Now, I remember having a conversation with Alex Neil about signings and him saying that he just couldn't attract players to Norwich.
Really?
Because it was too far from London. The training ground wasn't good enough. It was just too quiet. There was no shopping. It was all of these different things that...
Did you buy that?
Yeah, I did. I can imagine that was the case, yeah. That was actually one of the only times I've actually opened up on someone in the changing room.
Oh, really?
Hello. Here we go.
No, Martin Olsen it was.
Hello and welcome back to episode number 83 of the TalkNorwichCity podcast. I hope you've all recovered from Monday night with Wes and Russ. What better way to go again than with Norwich City former goalkeeper, Mr. John Ruddy. How are you, mate?
Good, yeah.
Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
How's things?
All right.
Yeah?
Yeah, good.
International break?
Yeah.
Had any time off?
Yeah, a few days, weekend off, so it's nice to get back home.
Yeah? How often are you home now? Because you're still in Norwich, aren't you?
Yeah, my family still live here,
Yeah.
and I'm back as much as I can, fairly regularly, to be fair. It's only a short hop up the A11, A14, M6.
Lovely. You know that well now.
It's just like the back of my hand, yeah.
Yeah.
Roadworks are a nightmare, but yeah, I'm back quite often, so it's good.
When we were with Wes and Russ, obviously they're at different clubs now and still living fairly locally, they were saying the travelling was a massive difference because they were so used to just being 10 minutes up the road from Colney and they almost took it for granted. Has that been something you've struggled with?
100%. It's, I'll leave at 5 o'clock in the morning. If I come back straight from training, it'll be 4, half 4 that I get back. So it is a massive difference. It takes up a large period of time, but at the same time, it's well worth it. Go training, come home, see the family. It's good. Keep trying to keep a normality about it.
Definitely. Let's go right back to the start of your career. Where did it all begin for you? Because obviously the people watching will know you from Norwich, but you had almost a career before Norwich, didn't you? In terms of the journey you went on, it wasn't your usual route.
I think I was a journeyman at 22. I think. Yeah. So, where did it start? It started at Cambridge.
Yeah.
But before that, I only started playing in goal when I was 14.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you outfield before?
I was. Yeah. I started up front and just got further and further back.
Yeah, you look like you played up front.
Yeah.
Get a big head on it.
Yeah, but then just got lazier as I got older and just thought, I can't be doing this running around. Like it wasn't for me. And to be fair, I played in goal, and playing out pitch, and my team folded on a Sunday team folded, and my dad's friend said to me, "Why don't you try him in goal?" And my dad was like, "No."
Is that because they had no one else?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And because of the size of me as well. So I was always quite tall. So I tried that at 13, 14. And then a friend of mine was at Cambridge at the time. Okay. He was watching a game with a coach from Cambridge who he knew, and sort of just said, "Oh, if you need a goalkeeper, what about John?" I said, "Yeah, so we'll get him in."
And there you go.
And that was it. And then so I started at 14 in goal. 3 years later, made my first team debut for Cambridge.
That seems quick.
Yeah, it was.
And it's almost, I don't know what it was like back then, but in the current day, if you're not joining a professional club until 14. That feels quite late now, doesn't it? Which is crazy.
I think there'll be very few and far between nowadays. Yeah, I think unless you've been in a system for a number of years, you'll find it very difficult to break into anywhere at 14.
Was it like that when you were joining at Cambridge at 14? Or?
Yeah, most of the lads that when I joined had already been in an academy centre of excellence, as it was back then, for a number of years. But for me, I was just like, yeah, it's football. I like playing football.
Yeah, so it's you never envisioned being where you are now, essentially. Did you want to be a pro footballer?
I did when I was younger, probably 8, 9, 10. And then as I got older, I just thought, it's probably not going to happen.
Right.
And then I was going to be a policeman. And then
I wouldn't mess with you.
No, but then my mate was like, I'm going to join the army at 16. I mean, that sounds like a better idea. I was going to join the army. He's still in the army now. He joined at 16.
Oh, right.
I was going to join with him, but then obviously football came along. And it's done all right.
Sounds like you fall into it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I do it now with my son. He's 11 and he's really keen on it and loves it. And you see all the kids training and working. And sometimes you just look at them and go, they're doing so much.
Yeah.
Like, you can see why people get to a certain age and just fall out of love with the game. And I think for me, because I got into it so late, I still had that hunger and that passion for it. And because it was all brand new to me. Whereas when someone's been in it for 6, 8 years, it's like it's very monotonous. It's very it's just the same thing, very repetitive.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because we've recently heard from Max Aarons on the Pinken, which is a great interview if you've not seen already, and he actually said about how he had a year out of the game, just like Jamal. And it's quite interesting that John brings up about the intensity as a youngster. Those guys both had a year out of the game and then went back and boom, it kind of went. So it's interesting how it goes.
Well, I think it gives you that different perspective on actually what real life is then like.
Agreed.
Right. And you realise actually how fortunate you are to be in the position you're in. So for me, it was great, and it was sort of, I was always learning day on day, and to be fair, I had a real appetite for learning as well and trying to get better. So it started when I got into Cambridge. It was a learning process. I remember having a sit down, and we were in Denmark with Dan Ashworth, who is now technical director of the FA, Kit Carson, who was the youth team coach at the time. And they sort of sat me down and just said, listen, what are you doing to help yourself? And I was like,
slap on the wrist,
a bit harsh, isn't it? Yeah. It was, we'd just come from a game, and we used to have to rate ourselves out of 10. And they said, well, what'd you give yourself for that game? I was like, 7. It's just a run-of-the-mill 7, just box standard 7. They went, we gave you a 4.
Wow.
Okay.
And how old are you at this point?
I was 14, so I'd only literally been in the building for a few months. And I was like, okay. And then they started laying into me in front of everyone saying, how many times you train with the first team? How many times do you do this? What have you done here? What have you done for this? And they were like, when you're going to take it seriously, come and talk to us.
Wow.
I was like, okay. And then to be fair, later that night, I knocked on the door and went, right, I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to see what I can do to be who you think I can be. And they said, well, don't rush it. If you're not ready now, you don't have to do it just because we've said it. I said, no, I'm ready. I said, I want to talk about it. So then they laid it down and said, right, we want you to come in 1 day a week in school. So it was a Tuesday, we worked out with the school. So I'd go training with Cambridge in the morning, go back to school in the afternoon.
Right.
And it sort of just opened your eyes gave me a little feeder taste of lessons into the first team atmosphere, training with the youth team, mingling with the first team as well, working with the first team goalkeepers. And they saw a potential in me which I didn't see because I didn't know enough about the game or where I was at that time. So that was good. And then 17, got my full scholarship, end of my first year scholarship, made my debut, Leyton Orient away, 1-0, saved the penalty.
That's not a bad way to start.
Dreamy
debut.
debut.
Yeah. And then came back in for the pre-season the year after. We had a French manager, Hervé Renard, who is now the Moroccan manager. He's won the African Cup of Nations as well. And he sort of just went, his English wasn't great, he went, you a goalkeeper? I said, okay, yeah, we'll do it that way. And that was it, played then from 17, was in the first team. Then Christmas time,
What level are Cambridge at this point?
This was League Two.
League Two. So it's a fairly good standard for a young lad.
It's men's professional football. I still remember the days I had balls coming through and going to clean up and catch it in my box, and Jason Lee's coming through and just forearm smashing me when I've already caught the ball. Yeah. And it was like, this is men's football. This is proper football.
And do you think? I mean, we'll get onto it later, I'm sure, but from my perspective, there's not enough young players going through that process now. I don't know if it's changed or anything, but that surely you'll look back at them times and go, God, they really stood me in good stead for the future.
For me, under 23 football it's a nothingness, really. Yeah. I don't think there's a lot to be learned for what you're then going to face when you get into the first team. I don't think it's challenging enough. I don't think there's enough players who see it as that next step to the first team. Right. Whereas when I first started out and when I moved to Everton, I was playing in the reserve team, but you're playing against regular first team players who have played 150, 200 league games, and they're only playing because they haven't played the week before, so they're topping up their game. You know, that doesn't happen enough nowadays, and you don't get that level of competition at the under 23s. Don't get me wrong, technical ability is far greater than it was back then, but at the same time, as you say, are they really ready for the next level?
What's your kind of mental sort of process as a 14-year-old going through to the first team debut? Because, you know, when I was still am a season ticket holder, watching you on the Norwich pitch, really fired up, really ready to go, constantly on it. I feel off the pitch you're quite relaxed, quite laid back, and it seemed like, as Chris said there, you almost fell into that Cambridge situation. Were you really, really driven, or were you quite like, well, if it happens, it happens. If not, I'll rock off to the army?
Yeah, I think there was a bit of that, and then the conversation I had with Kit and Dan probably realigned my thought process. Really opened my mind up to, actually, this could be a future for me.
So it was that you didn't see that pathway. You thought, well, it's all well and good now.
It was day by day then.
Right.
It was go train him twice a week, play on a weekend, see what happens.
Has it gone quickly for you? Is it flashed
before
your eyes?
I think if you think it's since I started playing goal, it's 18 years. 15 years I've been a professional. So when you look at it that way, it's a long time ago.
It kind of seems like so far your career, from how you're describing it, it's like when you get in the car from A to B and you get to B and you're like, hang on, how the hell did I end up at B?
Yeah, but there was a lot of stops along the way.
Okay. So Cambridge happens, Everton's the next club?
Yeah, so Everton...
That's a big move.
Well, when you consider that Cambridge got relegated to the Conference that year, and then Everton had just qualified for the Champions League.
Don't
They finished 4th that year in the league. But it was the last season, because Liverpool won the Champions League that year, but finished 5th.
Oh, yes.
Don't know if you remember that one. And then Everton,
Istanbul. Was it that one?
Yeah, it would have been 2005, but Everton lost to Villarreal in the Champions League qualifiers. Okay. So it was literally going from the bottom all the way to the top overnight. And to be fair, they signed me in the February, and I've been doing 2 days a week up there. So I go Monday, Tuesday up at Everton, come back on a Wednesday, day off on a Wednesday, train Thursday, Friday at Cambridge.
Right.
And I was doing that from February until the end of the season.
That's intense.
Yeah, it was intense, and I never drove back then either. So I was training, I was getting the train everywhere.
Bloody
and it
hell.
was, you know, for a 17, 18-year-old lad to get on the train himself and up to Liverpool and get a taxi to wherever.
You wouldn't want to train these days, would you, Jack? Greater Anglia is a nightmare.
If it's anything like it is now, that's a hell of a trip.
Yeah.
So
it was a bit easier from Peterborough. You just get straight on.
Yeah, it was easy to be fair.
You must be thinking at this stage, I've made it. This is the real deal, because you know, as a lad, that must be mental for any player.
Yeah, and I think there's an element of that, but there's always the realisation once you get there and go, right, well, I've got Nigel Martin, Richard Wright, Ian Turner, 3 goalkeepers ahead of me who were tremendous. Nigel Martin would probably still be playing now if he could. He played for 6 months with a broken ankle before he had to retire.
Wow,
Richard Wright was a fantastic backup goalkeeper and great with me. Really helped
and
me.
he is still going, isn't he, Richard
He's
Wright?
a coach at Man City now.
Yeah, Man City.
But those two were massive for me. They really helped me. Ian Turner was one of the best goalkeepers I've ever worked with. Really unlucky with injuries. He had hip and knee problems. But then when you get in there, and I'm working with Chris Woods, who's my goalkeeper coach, unbelievable coach, obviously his career speaks for itself as
Yeah.
well. So you're getting up there and just looking around and going, okay, this is...
Are you a bit scared?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you have to be. I think there's always the sense of trepidation because it's such a big jump. You're going into a changing room with massive personalities, international footballers.
What age were you at this point?
18.
Wow.
18, so yeah. And then it was the realisation then, halfway through that season, playing in the youth team. So going from first team football at Cambridge to Everton where you're fourth choice and then you're having to play in the youth team. And you're going, this isn't really how I thought it was going to go.
But you obviously knew you were going to have them 3 keepers ahead of you when you signed. So you've gone from playing, as you say, really beneficial, League 2, starting, men's football, young lad, to then going, okay, I'm going to be third, fourth choice goalkeeper. Was that... it's a massive jump up, but in terms of where you're playing, it's almost a step back, isn't it?
Yeah, in terms of development, like training day to day was unbelievable. Enjoyed every moment of it. But yeah, you're training for nothing at the end of the week. And that was the most frustrating thing. So then the loan move started to come. So first it was...
The lone wolf.
Yeah. So first it was Walsall for a month under Paul Merson. Interesting.
Wow.
Then...
how many was it 8 off the top of my head? Was it 8?
8 or 9, I think, yeah. So this is the first season. I Walsall in the first season for a month. Then after that...
What was Merson like as a manager?
I'm going to skip that. Let's just say he was as good a manager as he is a pundit.
Incredible.
Then it was Russian and Diamonds,
Cool.
who have now obviously defunct.
Yeah.
That was the first season. Both of those for a month. No, actually, sorry. Then I went to Chester after that. So there was 3 in the first season. Second season,
Why was there so many so quick?
Because they realised, I think, that I'd been used to playing, and it was more important for me to go out and get games.
Okay,
But
I'm with you.
when you're, I think that in hindsight's a wonderful thing, but I definitely wouldn't have done those in the first year.
Okay.
I would have probably said, right, give me 6 months at Everton, work with Woodsy, work with the goalkeepers, get me feet under the table, and then we'll go in January. We'll look for somewhere. But I'd gone from leaving Cambridge, adapting to a new changing room at Everton. 2 months later, going to Walsall, adapting to a changing room for a month, coming back to Everton, still trying to adapt to that changing room.
Yeah.
Going to Rushden, adapt to that changing room.
Yeah.
There for a month, go back to Everton, still trying to adapt. Out to Chester, adapt there, back again.
That's unsettling, isn't it?
It is. It is very, and there was pros and cons, and I think they helped me. But at the time, you sort of looking at it going, is it really benefiting my future? Like I said, in hindsight, it probably wouldn't. But it's also helped me get to where I am. So, every cloud and all that.
So that's your 3 in the first season.
That's the 3 in the first season. Then the second season, I went to Stockport, which
and
was
this
really
is,
good.
what level's this?
This is League 2 again.
Okay, so you're used to this.
Yeah. So Stockport, League 2, and was there for 3 months. I'd done really well there actually. Went there while they were in relegation zone. Left them in the playoffs.
Wow.
And then Wayne Hennessy came in and kept 9 clean sheets or 11 clean sheets in a row.
Bloody hell, that
So
must
it
be
was
some kind of record.
it is the records there. So I left. I think I kept quite a few clean sheets there, and then he came in and kept all of those in a row. And it was like, oh man, just a month extra, I would have done it. And then I left there because I couldn't stay there for any longer. And then, so we left there in the playoffs, and then David Moyes sent me back to Wrexham, who were at the bottom of the table.
So you're like, I've just worked my way up, and now I'm going back to the bottom.
And that's probably the biggest regret of moves that I've made, was Wrexham, because it just wasn't right at that having gone from the bottom to the top with Stockport and being on such a high and doing really well there, it was like, right, now we can kick on. And then it's sort of like you're going back there and you're going, oh.
How much of a say did you get in these loan moves?
Not much.
No,
not much. It was sort of like, there's games available, do you want them? And I was like, yeah. Because I'm a young goalkeeper, I want to play games, I've been used to playing games, give me games, give me games. Whereas if you had someone giving me a bit more advice, a bit better advice, it'd be like, well, you've just done this with Stockport, do you really want to go all the way there?
Yeah.
So, Wrexham I was there for a month, didn't do well there.
I mean,
Didn't
in
really
a
enjoy
month,
it.
to be fair, I think whenever like Norwich sign a new player or something like, give them a month, and then we can start to judge
Yeah.
how they're performing. If you're only at clubs for a month, I mean, you've already named 3 there where you're
Yeah.
at for a month. You can't really be expected to.
No, but you are.
Right.
That's the thing. You are expected to do it, and especially having that stigma of a Premier League club attached to you.
Yeah.
Everyone's got the expectations there.
Yeah.
So that was the second season. Actually, after Wrexham, I had one game for Bristol City away at Carlisle. So I got told on the Friday that Bristol City's goalkeeper was injured. They wanted me for the game against Carlisle on the Saturday.
Right.
Got told at 3 o'clock Friday afternoon. Met them in the hotel at 6 o'clock in Carlisle. Woke up, had breakfast, had pre-match, played the game.
Just enough
went
time to
home.
bond with the centre backs.
Yeah, well, we won 3-1, so it was a good game.
days, yeah.
Yeah, so done that and then
Maybe
went
that's the
home
future.
straight after the game. Went home. So that was my one game for Bristol City.
Credit to you though, John, because so far the loans, with all the love and respect in the world, the loans that you've put on the plate here, they're not exactly glamorous locations, are they?
No,
So
but
fair play to you.
part and parcel
To
of
keep
those
going.
loans as well. So the Chesters, the Stockports, the Wrexhams, so I could still try and be at Everton as much as I could
Yeah.
during the week. Which again,
Okay,
you're
that
going
makes
from
sense.
one place to another for
Yeah.
the week as well. So you're still, you're going there with Chris Woods' training, then you're going there with someone else's training. Went to Walsall, they didn't have a goalkeeper coach, so it's sort of like kicking,
What do you do?
kicking
Yeah,
balls against the
yeah.
wall and just catching it.
Is that what you did? What did you
No,
do?
you're just working with the other goalkeepers, just and then
Shooting some balls,
waiting for the rest of the
kicking
team
it
to
about.
be ready. Yeah, so
That's immense.
yeah,
Wow.
that was it's strange.
And so just remind me, when was your one appearance for Everton?
2006 February, so that would have been in between.
Was that in between loans?
Yeah, I think 2006. So I was there 2005. So it would have been my first season.
What did that feel like? Were you
That
like,
didn't-
thank
that-
God,
that
or
wasn't, yeah, but that wasn't even straightforward.
no?
You know,
It
I was
wasn't.
that was the first time I'd been on the bench. Wasn't even sure if he was going to name a keeper on the bench. So it was the first time I was on the bench, and then Ian, making his debut, gets sent off after 10 minutes. On I am.
By the way,
There you
what-
go, John. You're on. Okay, brilliant.
And so, what was going through your head at that point? Because it wasn't meant to be. You weren't even prepared for it mentally.
No,
And then
it
all of a
was-
sudden, you're on the pitch at Goodison.
Yeah, and you're facing a free kick from 18 yards out. So you're thinking, just don't score from here. Just don't score.
Please don't
just
score.
not this bit. Give me a few minutes just to get this going. But yeah, we went on and won 1-0.
Yeah.
Fairly comfortable.
Yeah.
Only made a couple of saves, couple of crosses. So it was good. And then after that, we went into an international break.
Yeah.
And David brought in Sander Westerveld
Okay.
on loan. So it was like, right, you're on the bench. I was like, okay.
So when you made that first appearance, was
Yeah.
there ever a thought in your head that thought, I might be able to kick on here? I might be able to
Yeah, there was a thought actually
Finally.
might get
Yeah.
a couple of games.
Okay.
Yeah, because Ian was banned for 3, Nigel and Wright was still injured. I was thinking, there's
Yeah.
a little bit of a run, a couple of games at least. But yeah, he brought in Sander and Sander played. I think if there hadn't have been a break in between, he might have been more favourable to giving me a chance.
Okay.
But because we had a break of a couple of weeks in between, it was sort of like, right, I've got time
Unlucky.
to get something in, yeah. But also as well, I think it's an indication that they probably didn't think I was quite ready.
Okay.
Um,
Did you think you were ready?
I thought I'd done well enough in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think once you're chucked in at the deep end, if you can survive, I think you show enough. Yeah.
So after that, more loans.
More loans. Yeah. So,
So where are we
after
up to now?
Now,
Well,
bear
just-
with us if you're
yeah.
listening or watching. Just bear with
I'll get
us.
a calendar out. Just go back. After the one game at Bristol City, we go to. Where did I go? I think I had a longer period at Everton, and then I went.
Okay.
I went to Stockport towards the end of the season.
Right.
Back to Stockport.
Can't get
and
rid of you.
They got to the playoffs. We got to the playoffs. Got to the playoff final. And we got to the playoff semi-final. Played against Paul Lambert actually at Wycombe.
I was going to ask you that. When did Paul
Yeah.
Lambert come onto the radar?
Yeah, so he was the Wycombe manager, and we played him in the semi-finals. But I'd been playing with a hernia for
Bloody hell.
6-7 months,
Wow.
and I was like, when I say I was struggling, I was struggling taking goal kicks. Like it was unbearable pain. And
Was it like youth football where you got the big unit to like just tonk
no,
out the pitch?
they wouldn't even do that for me. I
Really?
was trying to
That's
take it
harsh.
myself. Yeah.
Cool.
But we got to the semi-finals and we played him at Adams Park, and the ball's come back, and I've gone to clear it, and I just felt my groin, and I've just snap hooked one. And to be fair, it's still gone 20, 30, 35 yards out.
Yeah.
But it's fallen to one of their players who's dribbled through a couple of ours and then scored.
Yeah.
Right.
We drew 1-1, so it wasn't the end of the world. But yeah, Jim Gannon was the manager at Stockport at the time, pulled me just before the second leg and said, "You're not playing."
From that?
Yeah, from that kick.
Wow.
So my head fell off. I was like, "Nah, this is." I said, I've been doing all this for you." I said, "I've played for 6 months with a hernia, struggling to kick."
Hang on,
the
did
ball."
he knew that? Did he know that?
Yeah, he knew that. Yeah. And,
Sounds harsh.
But what had happened? I think there was another keeper there who had already said, "I'll come back next year."
Right. Okay.
Where I couldn't obviously commit to that because I didn't know what Everton wanted to do.
Right.
So I think I was done over a little bit. They got to the playoff final. I just said, "Look, I'm not coming." I said, "I need to get this sorted." I said,
Fair play,
"I'll
mate.
get my hernia done, had my operation, and then look forward to next season." Wished them all the well, and then they went up. They won
What's
the
that
final.
like mentally, to go on that journey and then be sort of kicked in the teeth?
That was arguably, well, at that time it was the lowest point of my career.
Yeah.
Definitely. I remember doing the warm up in the semi-final home leg when I was on the bench and just thinking, I don't want to be here.
What's the point?
Wow.
Yeah, just don't want to be here.
Blimey.
Just took everything that I'd worked for that year and just really, it wasn't nice.
How do you look
Wasn't nice
back
at all.
on it now, that time?
Same. No,
Really?
I think it was unfair. I think I should have, considering what I'd done, I think I played 13 games since I've been there and I kept 8 clean sheets. So I'd done more than enough to warrant the place.
ridiculous,
You know,
yeah.
so it was a tough one to take. And
How do you then bounce back after that? What's the next club?
Next club's Crewe.
Crewe,
And I
okay.
spent 6 months there, and it was a really, really good loan move. That was probably one of the most enjoyable. Really good group of lads.
What age are you now? His testing you.
20, 21, 22.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. Still young.
Still young, yeah. So, had a really good end of season there. Played really well for them. Helped them. We almost survived. I went there and I think they were rock bottom. And I think we missed out on survival by a couple of points. So we had a really good go, but, it was a really good place to be. Really good place to play football.
Seems a theme of your loan move so far, going into clubs.
Relegation.
Yeah. Well, going into clubs that are nearing the bottom.
Yeah, but I think that's what you
had a
found.
good time at Crewe though as well, didn't they?
Yeah, but I think that's what you found back then is clubs would never look for a goalkeeper unless they were in trouble.
Okay.
You're not going to get a
Interesting.
top of the table
Yeah.
team go, "Oh, we need a keeper."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's just part and parcel of being a keeper as well.
And at this point now, you mentioned there you've just played against Lambert's Wickham side, so
Yeah.
Cully and Kaza are there as well. Are chats going on at this point with Lambert?
No, so when I was at Crewe, they had an old goalkeeper who was goalkeeper coach at Colchester with Paul,
Right.
and he used to play for Crewe. And now he used to turn up at every game. He was in the tunnel. I was like, "Who is this fella?" He's like, John." He's like, speaking to Paul, we're keen to bring you to Colchester. Like, is there any way you can cancel your loan here and come
Right.
down there? I was like,
Wow.
"Look," I said, "I ain't got a clue." I said, "You need to speak to Everton." I said, I'm here for, I think it was month to month. So I was like, I'm
Yeah.
here for the next month and I don't know what's happening. So there was obviously interest already from Paul to take me to Colchester. But that season finished, and then I went to Motherwell for the whole year.
Yes.
After that, Paul obviously knows Motherwell well because he was a player there before he went to Dortmund. So I had a really, really enjoyable season in the SPL.
Right. How was that moving up to Scotland and playing in a different league as well?
It was brilliant.
Was it?
Yeah, it was arguably, after that Crewe one was again the best loan move I've had.
Yeah.
I got Player of the Year.
Is that because you feel like you had a season?
I had a base there.
Yeah.
I had a base.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I knew how long I was going to be there. My wife, my now wife, girlfriend at the time, she moved up. Our son was a year old, so he started nursery up there.
Right.
Used to speak in a Scottish accent, which was really weird. He was born in Liverpool, started speaking in Scotland, and then moved to Norwich. It's a really weird accent. But yeah, that was an unbelievable season for me.
I can't believe, actually, that knowing all this now, I can't believe in a really respectful way that you've managed to get to the heights that you've been to, because all of these line moves, effectively after the first 3, are kind of kicks in the teeth if you're not getting to the first team, Everton.
Yeah.
So kudos to you for getting through, because mentally, that's just constant whips. And the rallies that you keep mentioning as well, in there as well. Oh, here's another whip, John. Relegation.
Yeah, but I think it's also looking at it saying, right, what positives can I take from it?
Okay.
And the positives were from Stockport helping them reach from the bottom to the playoffs, helping them get into the playoffs the next time I went. Crew, helping them have a chance of surviving. You know, Motherwell getting Player of the Year, playing against Celtic, Rangers, you know, being in that environment of the SPL where everything is just so focused on Scottish football. You don't see any press about English football. You know, there might be a little snippet, a page here or there, but everything is Scottish football. So, you know, you're more in the limelight up there, but obviously not down here. So, yeah, it was just a matter of saying, right, I'm here, I'm going to do my best, I'm going to try and improve, I'm going to try and help other people improve, and then we'll see where it takes us. I think at this point I was resigned to not getting a chance at Everton.
Okay.
I think that was already...
Yeah, at what point does that come? Because that's obviously when you move to a club like Everton, surely the dream is, and tell me if I'm wrong, I want to turn out for Everton and be their number one.
Yeah.
So at what point do you go, okay, this isn't going to happen now?
I think it probably happened fairly early,
right?
Subconsciously, but then you really start to think about it. I went to Motherwell and I was there for a year, and come the January, you know, there was conversations, and the Motherwell chairman was like, we want to sign you permanently. Said we were going to try and agree a deal with Everton. And as soon as you know that Everton are open to it, you go, right, okay, I see what's happening. Right, where else can I look, or what else is out there?
Yeah. So is she always moving around with you at that time as well?
Yeah, so obviously we were fairly settled in the sense that when I was at Stockport, Crewe, Wrexham, those sort of things, I'd travel, Chester and all that. But yeah, Scotland she moved.
What's that like for her as well? Because you don't think...
It's unsettling, you know. To be fair, once we had Jack, my son, she sort of stopped. She wasn't working, obviously, while we had him, and then when it came clear I was going to go to Motherwell, she was like, right, well, I won't work anymore down here. She was hairdressing. She said, right, I'll stop that.
Yeah.
We moved up to Scotland. She got a part-time job in a fashion store, and then that was it. And then she said, I want to be closer to home.
Yeah.
So right, okay. So I had a little look around Cambridge. You go, right, there's not many clubs. So there's not much clubs around here. I'm not sure we're gonna be too fruitful here. And then Norwich is there, and I phoned my agent. I said, look, ask what Norwich are doing for a keeper. I said, I know Paul likes me. I said, you know.
That's interesting. So it went in that direction.
Well, yeah. So I knew Paul had liked me, and I knew he'd wanted me at Colchester. So I knew he'd been to watch me at Motherwell.
Okay.
So I said, look, just see what they're doing. I said, obviously Fraser's there at the minute. I said, but I don't know what Newcastle want to do with him. You know, I've heard that they want quite a lot of money, so it might be too expensive. Just see what the conversation is. And he got back to me. He said, right. He said, I've spoken to Paul. He said, you're second on the list behind Fraser.
Right.
I said, okay, that's fair enough. And then obviously Newcastle wanted something like 2.5 million or something. Everyone wanted 250 grand for me.
It's amazing what a little girlfriend grenade can do, isn't it?
Yeah, but I, to be fair, I was in the same boat as well. I was like, we've been travelling, we've been away from, you know, it's 3.5 hours back home to see the family. We've got a little boy, so it's nice if you've got a bit of support around you. So I agreed with that. So
when it finally went through at Norwich, the shackles are off, finally, so to speak. How are you feeling at this point? Excited.
I think the way it happened was weird though. We were going to Australia with Everton for pre-season. I was in Manchester Airport, and I'd already put my bags on the plane.
You were extremely well travelled, by the way.
Yeah, well, I didn't go.
Oh right,
no,
okay.
So my bags are on the plane. David Moyes had come through and gone, just hang fire.
Chuck his bags off.
We were going to deal with Norwich. I went, I've already put my bags on. He's like, right, we're going to have to get them off. He said, because if you don't do it now, it's not going to happen. I said, okay.
Serious?
Yeah. So my bags came off. The player liaison officer drove me back to the training ground. I jumped in a car, drove to my Mrs. Mum's, where she was already in Cambridge. I went, I'm going up to Norwich tomorrow to sort everything out.
And were you wanting Norwich or Australia sunshine?
It was
say the right thing.
Yeah, no, I think I made the right decision. So,
That story feels like something out of a movie script.
That's
like,
nuts.
You don't think things do happen. I mean, you hear about it and you go, right then.
But that's the thing, it had gone on for so long and we were already back training. It was July, start of July, so we'd have been back a week. and it was going on for the whole week, and then it was like, right, well, is it going to happen? Isn't it going to happen? I need to know because I need to go on tour. If I'm not going on tour, I've got to stay here.
Yeah.
And then last minute.
And how often does it happen where a player goes to a club and goes, if you can make this happen, I'd be keen? Because is that a common thing? Because it always feels like it goes the other way and a club goes to a player.
No, I think obviously the agents and intermediaries, you're always speaking to them, they're always speaking to clubs. So once you get wind of a club might be looking for a keeper or a striker or wherever you play, you're right, okay. And if it suits your eye and you think, oh, yeah, that's not too bad, you go, right, yeah, put me in, and then see what feeders you get back, and then sometimes it'll be successful, sometimes it won't be. But I think that's part and parcel of the game. I think that's what their agents are there to do. So it's just putting
thank God for your girlfriend, that's all I'm saying.
The information that I had, what my agent had, we put it together and yeah.
So
the missus won.
So Norwich rock up, it all happens, you walk into the changing room. We've had a lot of people on this podcast from that similar era, and they've all said they walked into that dressing room and went, this is going to be a successful time. Did you have that same feeling?
Yeah, I think I obviously joined, they'd just been promoted from League One,
Yeah.
so confidence was already high.
Yeah.
It was already high, and it was an unbelievable dressing room to walk into.
What made it that? Because everyone said that.
The spirit.
Was it?
The spirit, the camaraderie, the banter that was flying around, the way you worked for each other, the way you could actually have a go at someone,
right?
Knowing that they're not going to take it personally.
Okay. I
think that helps massively. I don't think you can do it as much these days. You
Okay.
know, you can't open someone up and just tear into them because people take it too personally.
Yeah.
But back then, you had to go, yeah, no, he's probably right, and then move on and move on swiftly. And we sort of carried the group that was there before in League One. Sort of brought everyone in and just carried us right through with them, which was a great feeling, because some of us needed carrying early on, me especially. So.
Okay. See, I remember in your at least the first 2 seasons, you being extremely vocal on the pitch, literally barking at your defenders.
Just the first 2, yeah.
Well, no,
the stadium must have got louder.
Particularly the first 2. So did that carry on in the dressing room as well? Were you having a go at your centre backs when they made mistakes, for example, or not? Or
no.
Okay.
No, because I've never been that type of character.
Okay.
In terms of that, if someone asked, I'd say my piece, but I would, like you say, I would always like to do my talking on the pitch to try and limit the mistakes, if you like.
Okay.
Basically, the way I see it, the more I talk on the pitch, the easier I'm trying to make my job. So if I can organise someone and shut lines of passes or shut positions off, that means I don't have to do much. In layman's terms, and that's why I think communication on a football pitch, not just from a goalkeeper, but right the way through a team, is vital. Yeah. Because if I'm talking to them and they're talking to them and they're talking to them,
and they can't see what you see sometimes.
Exactly. So I've always been vocal on the pitch, and it was always something, going back to the Cambridge days, that I was always encouraged to do.
Okay.
So that's something I've been fairly decent at and fairly consistent throughout my career.
Were you naturally quite a kind of not out there character in terms of vocal, or not? Because it doesn't strike me as you're like that.
No, on the pitch.
Right.
On the pitch, yeah.
So something just switches.
Yeah, because you can be a different person on the pitch. Yeah. Because for that 90 minutes.
But does that come naturally to you? Or did it come over the loans and the Cambridge and the Everton days?
I think it goes back further than that. I think it's, as a kid I was always bigger than everybody else, so everyone sort of looked to me to set an example. I was always told by my teachers, you shouldn't do that, you should be setting an example. Thinking I'm the same age, why should I be different? But then it's always something that stuck with me, so I'm like, right, well, if I can set a good example, then people might follow. And
interesting.
Yeah.
I can see why you fancied a bit of the army now, because I could see you fitting into the army really well.
Well, I come from a military background. My dad was in there, so it was sort of, I was raised with a military discipline. If you like, which stood me in. And
so in your eyes, were you disciplining your defenders in front of you sometimes?
No, like I said, I think I was just trying to make it easy. Okay. Just trying to make it easy for them, easy for me.
Definitely not having a go at them.
No. Okay. Sometimes there would be, but only when I really felt it was needed. And I think you do that more when you're younger, because you're getting all hyped up and all the emotions are going through. Whereas when you get older, you can sort of calm yourself down and go, right, okay, you didn't mean to do it. Okay. And I think the more mistakes that get made by other people or by yourself, you go, actually, no one means to make a mistake.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
How can you help them bounce back from that? You know, if they're on the floor already because they've made a mistake, you're going to kick them and keep them on there, or you're going to go, right, come on, up you get.
Fair play. Yep.
Chris, what are your first memories of when we signed John and the first kind of...
Be honest.
No.
Because
we'll be honest.
it's big gloves to fill from Fraser, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, well, first and foremost, I remember having Fraser and being like, Jesus, this is one of the best goalkeepers I've seen at the club in a while. I grew up on Robert Green, which was amazing, and he was lobbing the ball over the halfway line easily from his box, and I was just like, Jesus, that this is some keeper here. I think we've been quite lucky in goalkeepers, to be fair, very lucky. We've had some brilliant GKs in the time. John comes in, really consistent, gets the Premier League and absolutely loving it. And then it got to, and I've said, when we first spoke about John coming on the pod, I was very upfront and honest, because I think it was the season when there was rumours of Chelsea coming in, and
Just come back from injury.
yeah. And for me at that point, I was like, if I'm John Ruddy, I'm off.
Right.
So I remember that season, not too dissimilar in a weird sort of way than what's going on with the Tim Krul thing now. I think some of the fans were getting on John's back. I was one of them. And I thought, if I'm John at this point, I'm not taking it anymore. I'm off. So fair play. But quite honestly, it's one of the best goalkeepers we've had. The stats don't lie, do they? Some amazing promotions, unbelievable games, clean sheets against some of the best sides in the country. But what's your favourite clean sheet, by the way, for Norwich in the Prem, obviously, or was it not?
It's been some big ones.
Portsmouth, away.
Yeah.
First season, Championship,
Okay.
promotion.
Yeah.
Boom.
In the Premier League, Chelsea at home, 0-0. Lambert's first season in the Prem. That was our first clean
Embarrassed
sheet.
Torres that day. I
We had
remember that.
we had to wait until January to get that as well.
Was that the one when there's a famous picture of Holty laughing at Matter on the floor diving? Was that
May
time?
have been.
I've got to bring this up as well. The game at Chelsea where you knocked Drogba out. Talk to me about that.
That's horrible.
Was it?
Horrible.
Were you like, oh my god, I've
Killed Drogba. Yeah.
there's the
No,
title.
no.
That's the title. Oh my god, I've killed.
It was
Drogba.
one of those things. To make it work, he was offside. He didn't even need to go for it.
Did you tell him he was offside?
Because he was unconscious. No, it was one of those things. I've just come for the ball, and I felt a punch, and I thought, is that the ball or his head? And I've turned around, and he's lying on the floor,
Yeah.
and he's got blood
I
trickling
remember
from
it
his
being
nose.
like an oh my god.
Yeah.
And all I thought was, he's
You've
not
killed
moved.
Drogba.
Yeah, he's not moved an inch. And it was only after, when you see the actual footage of it, where he literally is sparked in midair and bounces off the floor.
You didn't get a Christmas card from Didier that year then?
No, to be fair, Andy Cross knew John Terry.
Okay.
So I said to him, like, could you get me his number? So he got me Drogba's number.
good.
I texted him and rang him and just said, look, I hope you're okay.
And
And
what was
stuff.
his
So
reaction? Was he
He was
angry?
sound. No, he was sound,
Was
to
he?
be fair. Yeah, he said, look, it's part and parcel of it. He said, no problem, no issues. He said,
Fair
I was just...
play.
And then he said to me, I was really scared I was never going to see my kids again.
Bloody hell.
My
I didn't
God.
need to hear that. did I? Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to make me feel better. I didn't need that. But no, he was absolutely top drawer. And
He was getting ready to make you feel a bit guilty for the next game at Carrow Road, wasn't
yeah, but then he left, didn't he? He left after that. He left in January. So
So
yeah,
what's
didn't get to
this
play against him.
rise like from, because first season is promotion,
Yep.
unbelievable season,
Yep.
scoring tons of goals, defensively really sound. Then you go into the Premier League, brilliant season in the Prem, great games, memorable wins. You must be thinking, right, I've got my base now, I'm playing well, the fans are really on side, we're playing some of the best football this club has seen. This is going well now.
Yeah, and I think it was still the core group of when I joined was still there, and that was what was driving us through. You know,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of similarities between this season and that season was the fact that it's a great core group of people who might not be the best footballers that are in England, might not be the most technically gifted, but they will work together and they will work for each other to get results, and that's what we did back then. Like you say, the championship season was just a whirlwind.
Yeah.
It was just, like I said, I joined on the crest of a wave, and we never came off it, and we played really, really well, deserved promotion, got into the Premier League. Again, played really, really well. I think we finished 12th.
12th, yeah, it was.
Yeah,
And
last
then-
place finish.
Yeah, well, until
Into
the season after,
Hughes.
yeah, until Chris came in. And then I got into the England squad at the end of that season as
Yeah.
well, 2012, and it was just like,
Yeah. So when you got promoted from the Championship into the Premier League,
yeah.
was there ever a stage when you thought, this is too high a level for me? Or were you like, no, I am here and I belong here?
Yeah, no, I think that was the general feeling amongst the whole squad,
it?
was that
Wow.
we've earned our right to be here.
Yeah.
You know, why are we going to come in here and fear anybody?
Mm.
We know what we're about. We know we'll work hard for each other.
Mm.
We know we'll work hard day to day. We know we'll help each other through tough times, and we did that. 12th place finish says it all. So, yeah, it was just a really enjoyable season, because I think no matter what happens, a promoted team is never expected to do much.
No.
And I think
Agreed.
Especially nowadays.
Agreed.
once you take that weight off your own shoulders and play with the freedom and expression, you see how many times you see it when a team already gets relegated and then actually starts playing the best football of the season, because there's no weight of expectation. And we took that weight off, and Paul was brilliant at doing that, his man management and management of the squad, to just say, listen, his favourite saying was, it's a myth.
Right.
The Premier League's a myth. Go out and show what you can do.
Interesting.
And then we did it. So
Arguably what Wolves are doing this season, right?
yeah, well,
Playing
it's
some brilliant stuff.
Yeah, and it's slightly different in the sense that at Wolves, since the manager's come in, obviously I came in last year the same sort of time as he did, but he's played the same way
Okay.
right the way through. He's had the same basic ethoses that have said, right, this is what I'm building this team on. We go, and he hasn't changed. He's made a couple of tweaks this season in terms of taking one striker out and putting it in midfield to solidify midfield, but apart from that, we've got the same rules, the same disciplines that we had last year. And
Do you think Norwich will do that when they get to the Premier League next season? I say when.
uh,
Do you think we'll stick to it?
I
Or do you
think
think
so.
we'll have to
No,
adapt?
I think Daniel will believe in himself enough to do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't see there being wholesale changes either. You know, Norwich aren't going to go and spend 50, 60, 70 million.
No.
You know, Wolves spent a fair bit of money in the summer. Fulham spent 100 million. Norwich aren't going to do that.
No.
You know, Norwich are going to be more of the mould of, in terms of expenditure, like a Cardiff.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they're going to pick and choose the players they want,
Yeah.
pick pieces of the puzzle that they think need filling, and then go from there. But like again, the core group of this squad will be what carries you through next year.
And jumping ahead, of course, because we're not there yet, touch wood. Do you think we could survive in the Premier League without investing so much?
I don't see why not. I really don't. I think, again, it's like I just said there, if you take that weight of expectation off, which, let's be honest, if anybody connected to Norwich City this season thought they were going to be in this position with 8 games to go,
Yeah. Don't know what to talk about.
they're liars.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that,
Yeah.
because nobody thought you'd be top of the league, 8 games to go, 5 points clear of third.
Yeah.
So there's the weight of expectation taken off straight away
Yeah.
from the start of the season. Now next season's going to be similar, because everyone's going to go, let's just enjoy what we're doing. And why wouldn't you?
And I feel like our first season in the Prem, when you were in between the sticks, John, it was like that against the big boys. It was almost like we were proving a point. And this is what I love about when Norwich are in the Premier League. And people, I don't buy this, I prefer the Championship because we win more games of football. Absolute crap. Absolute rubbish. When you're in the Premier League, there's no better feeling than playing against Chelsea, Arsenal, Man U, and scraping a 1-0 win.
And we did
we're
that
little
so
Norwich.
many times.
Hey, exactly. And John, what was it like? Could you sense that it was a massive deal for the community of Norfolk when that happened, or was it just quite insular? We're just doing our job.
No, when the club gets to the Premier League, it's massive for the area. There's nothing else in the area. Do you know what I mean?
Hey, what the hell?
No, but that's
Norfolk Broads, right?
Well, yeah.
Oh,
obviously.
hang on. I've got to interrupt you. What's your favourite place in Norfolk?
My favourite place in Norfolk.
Yeah, or thing to do. That's not the football.
I just like taking the dogs out for walks.
Where'd you take them for a walk?
You see, you're asking me a question, but I've got no good answer. I've never been to a beach. Well, no, no.
Oh no, here we go. We're getting to it.
I have. I went to take the kids to go to the Seals.
Horsey? Winterton?
Name another one.
Yarmouth?
No.
I don't know.
Good, yes, that's what we wanted to get out of you.
No.
Jack always bangs on about Yarmouth, so
No,
as long as you don't like Yarmouth, it's your favourite
Pirate
place.
pitch and putt though.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, the pitch and putt's
yeah,
solid, I'll
pitch
give you that.
And the hippodrome. The hippodrome.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, the hippodrome was one of my favourite things to do.
Well, there we go.
Honestly.
There we go.
It is unbelievable.
Not a Norfolk Broads fan? Get on the boat, have a cruise.
You're too big for one of them little private hire
really,
things, aren't you?
Walk your dog at Whitlingham.
Walk my dog, Whitlingham Lakes.
Yeah.
Have a little run around there.
Solid performer. Yeah, good man.
So
keep it local.
But it did feel at that stage, as Chris said, this was a massive time for the football. Could you feel that in the dressing room? That the fans were losing their heads because this was going so well?
I think everybody was. I think everybody was just enjoying the moment we were in.
Yeah.
And I think that once you have that, and once you have that level of expectation above what was already expected, then everybody just goes, yeah, this is unbelievable. This season's it's a prime example. You know, people are going into the season, and I knew friends of mine who went last year, and you were getting, 22,000, and that was never ever the case.
No.
It was always a full house at Carrow Road.
Yeah.
This season's brought the full house back. The fans are, I've watched a fair few games this year, and the fans have been unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it's been back to that atmosphere of, it's similar to Man U in a way, where the fans are now going, we've got our Manchester United back.
Yeah.
Norwich are back. They're playing fearless football. They're playing high intensity football. They're playing cutthroat football. But they're also winning dirty and winning ugly.
Yeah.
And
Do you
all
like
of those ingredients are needed to be successful.
Do you like an ugly win?
Love it. There's nothing better than a scrappy 1-0 win.
You stink of an ugly win, yeah. You love
As long
that,
as you
don't
get a clean sheet, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
yeah.
You know what I mean? The Swansea game's a prime example the other week.
Yeah.
Swansea played Norwich for the first 45, 50 minutes.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, bang, one chance goal, shut up shop, they're not getting through.
Now, one name I have leaked this information that you're going to come on to a few people, and I've been told to say one name.
Oh, okay. No, I know what's coming.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to say it.
Don't.
Luis Suárez. Right.
I didn't think that was coming.
How do we possibly summarise those games against Luis Suárez?
It wasn't your fault. It was just his brilliance, wasn't it?
Well, I don't know. That one where it went over his head from the halfway line.
Yeah, but who else
expecting
is
going to try that?
I know.
I mean, Wardy should have got tighter there anyway. So.
That's my point.
No, he was.
Did he say anything to you afterwards? Like, I'm so sorry,
I said to
John.
him, when did we?
Did you say
it was
something
during
to him?
a game.
You've ruined my...
It was during one of the games. I think it was at Anfield when we lost 5-1, and he'd already scored a couple.
Yeah.
And I just said to him, I said,
"Can you stop?
Can you just be injured next time? Just have a day off when you play against him." And he just started laughing, and I said, and then I went to him at the end, and he was stood there with Glenn Johnson, and he was getting the match ball from the ref. I said, "Do you want me to sign that for you?" And it's like, but it's just one of those things. You're going into the game, and that one at Anfield, I particularly remember because I was like, "I'm going to get the better of him tonight." So I'm gonna.
Really?
Yeah. And then he dinks it over Benno's head, and half volleys one into the corner of the net, and you're
Yeah, it
going.
was insane.
There's nothing much you can do about these.
Yeah.
He scored every single type of goal.
The one at Carrow that I remember was the just over halfway line. Sorry, by the way, I'm sorry to bring this up. I'm not sorry. And then I remember one of their fans walking out and pulling a Mooney, the Norwich fan, and then kissing Suárez. Like, just absolutely nuts times. Just crazy times.
But that's an indication of, and he says it in his book actually. I've read his book.
Why did you do that? Just
because someone told me I was mentioning it, so I literally just looked for it on the glossary and went to that page.
Claim to fame.
And he just said, he said when you get that feeling of when you play against a certain club and a certain player that you just know you're gonna do well. He said that's how I felt when I played against Norwich
and John Ruddy.
And I can't remember the exact quote, but it's in there. Anyone who's got it, have a read. It sums it up, and he just sort of says, "I felt sorry for him."
Really? Yeah.
That's what he says. And I was like, "Thanks, Lewis." Nice one. You just got a £100 million move off to Barcelona.
I'll send you the invoice. I'll send you the invoice in the post.
Yeah, I think I tweeted when I was on Twitter at the time he moved. I think I tweeted I should be due for a cut or something. Yeah, it's still not come.
Love that.
Right, we've just talked about Suárez. Let's go to slightly different times. England come calling. It was certainly deserved, but even that didn't quite go to plan, did it?
Yeah.
So
right,
talk
Jack.
me. Well, I'm just saying it's been it's a fantastic
Come
career. England come calling. First of all, that's a dream come true, right?
Yeah, 100%.
What's going through your head at this point? You must be a really proud goalkeeper at this point. because you've put the bloody work in.
Not just a goalkeeper, just as a person.
Yeah.
I think it's the pinnacle of anybody's profession to be recognised for your nation. And,
and it's even tougher when you're at Norwich as well, because not many Norwich players have been called up for England in recent times.
I was the first since Robert Green.
Wow.
Was I?
Probably would have been, Probably would have been.
And I don't think there's been any that have played for England since me.
No, there hasn't. No.
Holty should have got in.
Yeah.
Ooh, little pause there.
No, he should have. But the problem for him was the strikers were so good, and Ricky Lambert was coming through at the same time, and he was more favourable.
Do you buy that?
No, not one bit.
Holt over Lambert?
I would have, of course, because you need something different. It's the same as when Andy Carroll gets in the squad. When Andy Carroll's fit and available, I'd put him in a squad all day long because he's something different.
Yeah.
And you need a variety in there, but it wasn't to be for Holt. And I know he's not bitter, but he's disappointed that never came. Yeah, of course you would be.
It was ridiculous. I remember it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It actually annoys me now that Maddison didn't get a call up.
No, in this squad, embarrassing.
Unbelievable,
Embarrassing.
Right? I'm so pleased you've said
embarrassing.
that. Shocking, isn't it?
Look, he might be
most assists out of any player.
He might be the best player in the world in 5 years' time, but Callum Hudson-Odoi should not be near a full England squad at this moment in time. He's not made a Premier League start. What happened to the days where it used to be you have to play half a season, a full season in the Premier League before you then judged on it? For me, it might be a little bit old school, but that's my view on it.
No, I buy it totally.
And Madders has got, like you said, he's created the most chances in the top 5 leagues in Europe.
Yeah. Southgate's missed the trick there, isn't he? But he will be in there eventually.
Anyway, back to
you.
No.
Euro 2012 squad.
Yeah.
And then you break your finger.
Yeah.
You must be thinking, because that was in
I
training,
thought
wasn't it?
It was second session.
For England.
At the Etihad Stadium. That's why the Etihad Stadium is my
least favourable.
Least favourite stadium in the world.
So how does the broken finger come about? Just simply saving a shot?
Yeah,
was it?
We were doing a session, we've gone through a couple of cones, and I think they were rascal Umbro balls or something. And
do you hate Umbro balls?
Yeah. The coach has just chucked a ball in, and I've gone like that. It's just dipped at the last minute, just caught me on the end of the finger, and it's just see that. I don't know if you can see that there.
Cool. Hello.
So it's just luckily for me, it bent that way instead of.
Do you have bad dreams of like Suárez kicking Umbro ball at you?
At the Etihad.
That would be
at the Etihad.
Oh my god! Imagine that. That'd be horrendous. So the finger comes about and get back into the changing room afterwards. God, it's a bit sore. That take my glove off and it's just purple. Whole top knuckle is just purple. Oh god, that doesn't look good. And they've had a look and they've said, yeah, it's broken. I said, right. I said, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
He said,
I love that.
I've got to send you back. I said, no, surely not. I said, like, I can still train, like, just strap it up.
Yeah.
I said, no, we can't. I said, literally for insurance purposes.
Oh my god.
England,
so it was down to that.
England couldn't take the chance of causing more damage. If I would have done it for Norwich in a training session at Norwich, I would have played on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, because you would have got away with it, or?
No, because you could tape it up, you could take injections and take pills. You could get by, but because of.
But you did get one appearance for England, right?
Yeah, so after that all happened, and then they had the Euros, and I think it was 10 days before I got married as well. And
that finger.
And as my missus has put the ring on, she's actually squeezed the end of my finger. There's a picture of us getting married, and my face is like that because she squeezed the end of my finger as she's putting the ring on.
Your missus is quite prevalent in your career.
Yeah, she's been there from the start. So
fair play.
Yeah, so we get the Euros out of the way, and then get back to pre-season, and then I'm in the squad for August. First one is the week before the season starts. I'm in the squad. I think, great, that's brilliant. And by the way, the goalkeeper coach who was the England coach when I broke my finger was Dave Watson. We then employed Dave Watson.
Yeah.
We employed him off the back of that. So he broke my finger. I missed the Euros, and then he gets a job at Norwich. He's arguably the hands down the best goalkeeper coach I've worked with.
Yeah.
And you've seen it with the CV he's got and the goalkeepers he's worked with.
I am biased because he got us tickets to one of the England games.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. He's a top boy.
But he's brilliant. His coaching sessions were unbelievable.
Yeah.
You went in looking forward to training every day. Yeah. So, but he came in anyway, and I was in the squad for the August one. We played Italy, but we played in Switzerland,
Obviously.
at Young Boys Ground. And then Roy said to me, he said, Jack's going to start, Jack Butland. I said, okay. And he said, if we don't make any subs in the first half,
Right.
you're going to come on for the second half. I was like, okay. So I'm sat on the bench like that.
Yeah.
Please don't make any subs.
Yeah.
Get to half time, thinking, yes, I'm in. Do my warm up at half time, and then play 45 minutes.
Wow.
How was that?
Just
Career highlight
yeah,
at the top?
yeah.
I feel like I would have just, going on your journey, I feel like I would have literally just walked on the pitch and cried. Just in sheer, God, how the hell have I done this?
I think if I'd started the game and I was lining up for the
Singing the anthem.
I think I would have cried.
Yeah.
You're the kind of guy that belt out an anthem.
Yeah. I did it at Wembley in the
Playoffs,
playoffs.
yeah.
Because I almost cried at the playoff final.
Yeah.
Singing the anthem, but it was just that raw emotion of going, this is what I've worked for.
I love that.
And it's like you say, you'd go back to a 14-year-old kid who started out not knowing what he was going to do. Then you building through, knock back down, building through, knock down. And you get to that point and it's just like,
Yeah.
wow.
Do you feel like you've ticked it off? Are you satisfied that you've done it?
I'm satisfied I've done it. I think I should have had more.
Good man.
But I'm satisfied I've done it. And
At least you've done it.
Yeah.
Know what Holty's gone through, for example.
Yeah. There's many players who probably deserved it and didn't get it, Holty being one of them. So, I'm very fortunate.
Brilliant. So, Lambert now leaves. He's already gone. So, was your England call up under Chris or Paul?
No, it was under Paul because it was the end of the season, last season. So we beat Aston Villa 2-0 last game of the season. That was when City won the league.
That was
Aguero.
Yes, that's
when he
it.
gave
Beautifully sunny day. I remember it well.
Yeah. So we won that game 2-0. Went in. TV was on. Aguero scores. Man City win the league. Everyone's going mental.
What, in your changing room?
No, just on the TV, and everyone couldn't believe it. It's just unbelievable. So then after that, we had a team night out after that game.
Here we go.
Here
we go.
Nice.
Here we go.
I don't know what happened. Don't ask me. Because oh,
blimey, John. Was it that many?
Yeah, it might have been.
What's your go-to drink, by the way?
What day it is? Right, it's changed over the years.
Go on, give me a drink at that point.
Please don't say what Dean Ashton said.
Drink at that point would have been probably cider.
Do you know Dean Ashton?
Yeah.
Talk to.
So Dean's go-to drink is a WKD and half a lager mixed in.
Okay.
Are you buying that?
No. That sounds horrendous.
That's shocking, isn't it?
Power Shandy, he called it.
Power Shandy.
Yeah. I'd never heard
and
of
we
it.
got slagged off by the Golden Oldies for not knowing what that was.
No, the only WKD mixed drink is with port and a cheeky Vimto.
What?
Hello.
Cheeky Vimto it's called, it tastes like
A
Vimto.
cheeky
Port
Vimto.
and...
Port and WKD.
John Ruddy
Blue
and
one.
Cheeky Vimtos.
Get that one down.
I think that's
Write that one down, you can use that.
I think that's worse than Dean's.
No,
Anyway, so
nice.
your night out.
So yeah, we had a night out and it was really good. We had some food and it was just a great crack. Just being with all the lads. I think that was on a Sunday. And then wake up the Monday morning, feeling a little bit delicate. Had a phone call. Don't recognise the number. I was like, who's this? Hello?
Oh, don't tell me it's Roy.
Hi John, it's Ray Clements.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, because we've been talking about, like the lads have been talking about, you've got to get called up, you're going in Euros.
Did you bolt up out of bed?
Hi Ray! I was like, is it a joke or isn't it? I was like, thought I'd play along with it. Yeah, okay, yeah. This is just to let you know the squad gets announced later and just want to let you know you're in it.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a joke.
You're not hungover
And then
anymore?
not hungover, straight back up.
Yeah, like that.
Phone call's finished, go downstairs. Laura, yeah? I'm in the Euro squad. So what? I'm in the squad. And then it's just like, wow. And I think we had the Player of the Year dinner that evening.
Okay.
And we sort of gone
That's
there.
a heavy couple of days.
Yeah. And gone there and I was like, no, I'm not drinking tonight. I'm not drinking.
I'm in the English
Why are you
squad
not
then.
drinking yet? And then, to be fair, I think Holty was sat next to me. He's gone, you heard anything from England? I was like, yeah.
Was that awkward?
No, because I didn't know whether he'd heard as well. So he said to me, and I said, oh yeah, I had a phone call this morning saying, so what about you? He's like, no, nothing yet. I said, I might just phone, like I said, it was only Ray Clements that phoned me anyway, so he might just be ticking the goalkeepers off.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, good excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That always seems. I've heard that story a lot
Poor
from
Holty.
players when they've been like, "I've been called up to the national squad. Is it a joke?" It seems like a really odd way. I know that obviously you have to phone you.
What were you expecting, Jack? A little
like a
Snapchat?
Roy Hodgson to turn up
Roy
at your front
Hodgson
door.
video call or something?
Yeah, it just seems a bit. I don't know.
Yeah,
Because it could have quite easily been. I don't know.
Yeah, it could quite easily. That's why a lot of people get fooled by it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it happened, and
Fair
then
play.
yeah, that was.
So
About
give
a
us your
week later,
favourite
I think.
Norwich City night out story. Come on. Let's wheel it out of you.
So we had, as you know, Wes and Russ on, and they told us about that famous championship night out where Wes is jumping into lorries. What's your perspective of that night? Because we've got
Yeah, I
there.
like that.
No,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
pretty much
As they said.
described. We were stood on the top of an open top bus, singing songs. I don't know what we were singing, and then all of a
Norwich
sudden,
chance.
people are coming down. I think I was just getting off, and all we heard was "No!" Turned around, and it's just this smash in the bin truck, and Wes is. You just see this little leprechaun head just pop up, and it's just going everywhere.
Now,
Yeah.
can you disclose who Where's Wally was?
No, I don't think that's fair to do that. I don't think that's fair to do that.
Unlucky
No.
Jack. Unlucky
A
Jack.
clue, maybe?
No,
No?
no,
Okay.
it was hilarious.
There are some vicious rumours going around about who Where's Wally was.
Yeah.
Well, we'll let the people decide. Once again, comment below who you think it was.
Yeah.
So
Plays
that's
for Bournemouth.
that's a memorable summer for you.
Yeah.
And then Chris comes in.
Yeah.
Now, we've spoke to Holty. He obviously has gone on record and say he didn't really enjoy that season because of the style you played and stuff. Does that mean it's the opposite for you? Slightly more defensive? Easier for you? Or was it tough?
I enjoyed it in the sense of we felt a lot more structured, a lot more solid. But yeah, I can completely understand why an attacking player would be frustrated. We had a really good group and a really good team again, defensively sound, but we probably didn't have that
Bite.
just the dynamism going forward. And it's just teams who defend really well and are hard to break down have to then have that ability to counter attack quickly.
Yeah, agreed.
To go from back to front, not long ball, but move the ball quickly so you get to the areas.
But we had the Wolf, right, Ruddy?
Ricky, man, Ricky. He was. Listen,
Did you feel sorry for Ricky?
100%.
Yeah.
He worked his socks off. He really did. And when he first came in, I remember speaking to Rob Newman, who was scouting at Man City, and I said to him, I said, we've signed Van Wilson. He went, what a signing that is. He said, we looked at him. So we looked at him and we like him. He said his movement's unbelievable. He's like, he'll score you some goals. Within the first couple of weeks of training, I saw exactly what he meant about his movement, but it was that ability in front of goal to be really clinical that he just lacked a little bit. But it wouldn't have taken much for him. I think he was scapegoated quite a bit as well.
Really?
Obviously
Well, it was a record signing.
Exactly.
Wasn't it?
And to have that hanging over you, you imagine if you come in on the last day of transfer window,
Yeah.
you haven't got time to listen to all the furore going around because you're straight into training and games. We signed him in
It was early, wasn't
February,
it?
March, so we already had months of the season
Yeah.
left before he actually came in.
Oh yeah, because
So
we had
you've
Ricky
got-
watch, didn't we? When he was
So
at
you've got the
Lisbon,
build up and the build up and the building, it's building and building and building,
Pipe.
and then he comes in.
Marketing
it's like-
campaign.
Scare of the Wolf, yeah.
It's not what we quite expected.
Yeah. And you've spoke, it feels like you're very much based around having a good core. I'm not just saying Ricky, but that was when we started to then be signing these players from European leagues and bigger money signings. Did you start to feel like that core was being lost?
I think that's difficult to say because I think the core was always there. We always had a good solid group of lads and we always integrated everybody into that. Now, I think whatever, I've been in a load of different changing rooms and you will always have, not fractions, but you'll always have groups who split off and do their own thing because they've either got more in common, they're around the same ages, they've got kids or don't have kids. It's all different circumstances that create that. But when you're working and you're training, you don't think about that stuff.
Right.
Again, the same thing is we work for each other, we try for each other, we want to fight for each other, we want to win for each other. And I don't think that changes much, but it's only when things start to go the other way that people then start to analyse that even more, and it comes under the microscope. And I think that's what happened. I think we obviously brought in players of a different ilk to what we were used to, but players with enormous ability. Leroy Fer was incredible player. Left foot, right foot, jumping ability, strength, composure on the ball, shooting ability. He had everything he needed to be a top 6 Premier League player.
Shall I tell you a random fact about Leroy Fer? He literally almost killed me.
Did he?
Yeah. He was coming out of Martin Olsen's house, reversed out onto the main road and almost killed me. Fun fact for you.
Did he?
Yeah, like he almost killed Didier Drogba. Leroy Fer's got the claim to fame. He almost killed Chris Reeve. Well, anyway,
I'm not
there
sure
you
he'd
go.
admit that, yeah. But he was incredible. Seb came in and was an absolute rock at the back.
Player of the season.
Yeah, Martin Olsen came in, and you're talking about international footballers. So they can only add to the squad. And the fact of the matter was that season, I think, we finished 11th that season.
Yeah. Highest Premier League finish.
Yeah, and it was only the season after, I think, where everybody else came in, and then things didn't quite go as planned, and we didn't start well, we didn't quite get the results. But we got to remember that we kept 12 clean sheets that season.
The relegation season, did we?
We kept 12 clean sheets, and we only scored 28 goals.
Bloody hell, yeah.
So that tells you
where it was going
where it went wrong, and I think
Blame Grant Holt then, yeah.
No, because Holt had left. He left.
It was that season.
Earlier that season, didn't he? So, we survived the season before because we managed to scrap a few points, and a couple of teams dropped points here and there. And I think it was only because we beat Man City, because I'd been injured a lot of that season. That was when I'd done my thigh.
Yeah.
So I'd played.
Declan was in the
fire, Bunny, wasn't he?
Oh, it was Bunny in the fire.
So I played.
Was that when we played like Arsenal, Man U, and Man City?
Yeah, we beat them at home. We beat Man U and Arsenal at home 1-0. And so I got injured in the Everton game in the November.
Yeah,
it
was away, wasn't it?
Talk to you about that. Injured against them, of all people.
Yeah, taking a goal kick of all things.
God.
I just remember because I went to Benno, I'd done it, and then Tex gave me a back pass. I was like, Tex. And I sort of almost had to swing my own leg to get the ball up because as I took a goal kick, I just felt a snap, and that didn't feel right. Tex had given me a back pass. I tried to kick it again. I went, there's nothing there.
Ooh.
And then the ball went out for a goal kick, and like they were on the bench going, "You're right." I was like, "Nope, I'm not sure." I said, "Benno, you're gonna have to take the goal kick." And Benno, in Benno's fashion, went, "You can't fucking kick the ball. Get off the fucking pitch." Cheers, Benno. Thanks, mate. My leg's hanging off, but don't worry about it.
And that was a big. We somehow skipped over that. That was a big injury, wasn't it? Because
yeah, that
for
was
a while.
That was 5 months in time. It would have been. Yeah.
Did you feel like you were the same coming back after that?
I felt like I'd done everything I needed to.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can ever be back to 100% the same once you come back from an injury like that. I think your movement patterns have changed. You've been used to doing certain things in your rehab that you just can't recreate come game day. But
and are you always aware, like when you get a back pass and you have to launch one long, are you always aware like, it's not going to be as strong as it once was? Could it go again?
No. To start with, I think you always are, and I think it's something you have to be wary of. But now,
don't think about it.
No, it's the strength's there. It feels fine. It's as good as it was, really, even maybe better. But I think, like you say, it's just. The thing is with long-term injuries, and anybody who's had them will tell you, when you come back from that injury, you then start to feel everything else that was going wrong.
Yeah.
So I came back from that injury, and then all of a sudden I thought, my knee's sore.
Right.
What's happening with my knee here? Because
so much. Yeah.
And then it's like, my other knee's sore, and it's like, what's going on here? It's like I'm only
falling apart.
27 or whatever I was, and so all of a sudden I need knee replacements. It's but it's just a culmination of playing so many games in a period of time, having an injury, not doing anything on those other joints or muscles, and then everything else going, I'm not used to this again. So it's the little ones, the little niggly injuries that probably hold you back for a longer period of time than you used to.
So we then get relegated, then we're back in the Championship.
Relegation was hard.
And we go again.
Yeah.
How was that season? Because you're back in between the sticks. I've lost track of where we are now. You're back.
So we've just had the season with Chris.
Yeah.
He got sacked with 5 games left.
Neil Adams comes in.
Neil Adams comes in for the last 5 games.
Yeah.
We lost to Fulham.
Yeah.
Liverpool at home. Arsenal home last game of the season. Drew to Chelsea away 0-0. Lost to Man U away. They were the last 5 games. Easy games, really. We should have. Don't know why we went down.
So we then drop back into the Championship.
Yeah.
How was that again? Because you know that well. You've had good times there.
Well, I'd only played in it once.
So
This was my second season in the Championship.
right, okay,
So the first season was
yes,
the promotion
yeah.
season under Paul.
Yeah.
So
That's what I mean. You've got good memories.
yeah. I think that was when you sort of realised the club was taking a different direction.
I see.
We had Neil Adams come in.
Yeah.
We had Ricky Martin go into a technical director role. David McNally was still overseeing. But the club was sort of going, right, well, we need a different structure in place. You go, okay, fair enough. No problem. Pre-season was good. We went to Italy, great trip. We brought in, I think, Lewis Graben, Carl Lafferty, were two players we brought in.
Was that the pre-season when we played that pub team that like lied about their and then we beat them like 12-0 or something?
Yeah, meant to be like a county FA team. Although they were a county FA, they were meant to be like third division, but yeah.
And what was that like for you playing that game? Were you like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, nobody was happy with that.
Really?
Nobody was happy.
Did you get suspicions at the time that like this is really weird?
When they rocked out in different kits, yeah. It was literally like, right, grab a football kit you've got in the cupboard and come down. We've got a game going on, and it was just like, this is
a joke.
You know, we would have been better off doing an 11v11 against ourselves. But that was a good trip. On the whole, it was a good trip. And then we came back and we played Wolves actually. First game of the season, lost 1-0.
Yeah, we did.
Dave Edwards scored.
Yeah, good header.
And that was actually one of the only times I've actually opened up on someone in the changing room.
Oh, really?
Hello.
No, Martin Olsen it was, because he came back. He
got sent off, didn't he?
He got sent off in that game, but
he'd
had some family problems, which I didn't know at the time.
Right.
In the off season. And he sort of come back and he was overweight. I think he was about quite a few kilos overweight. And he hadn't played all pre-season. Javi Guerrero had played left back and done really well. You know, Javi was a good lad. Javi was a good lad. And
used to drive like a Toyota Yaris around him.
Yeah, the club one.
Freebie, yeah, tightest man alive. And but we got into the change room at the end. And I just lost it. I said, "Oh, so if you went fit." I was like, you're not doing us any favours being out there. Didn't say this calmly.
Yeah. No, I imagine.
So you were slagging off because of his weight, basically?
No, because he hadn't played all pre-season either. Yeah. And it was like, he wasn't ready to play a competitive game.
Yeah. But that's not his fault, is it? That he's been thrown in.
No, it's not his fault, but at the same time, it is to a certain extent, because if he doesn't come back X amount of kilos overweight, he's probably a little bit more able to adapt a bit more. But I just opened up and it was like this rubbish.
And that's not like you, is it?
It wasn't.
So
no, it wasn't.
Was that? Did you look back at that and go, "Oh, what happened there?" Or
yeah, because it's the
slightly
first time.
character.
I think as well the frustrations of.
Was it that pub team that wound you up? Got in your
Yeah,
head?
it might have been. No, and I'll tell you why as well, because it was 2014 and I missed out on the World Cup squad. I was on standby, and I think, and it was the pre-season before was when the Chelsea interest came, and it was.
I was going to ask you about that.
Missed out on Chelsea, or not missed out. Decided not to go to Chelsea.
Yeah.
Missed out on the World Cup squad. Got relegated.
Yeah.
And I think you come back to pre-season and you go, right, we're having a go at this championship. We're getting out of this league. And then you start like that, and you start, and something happens where Ols got sent off and he got beaten by Van La Parra for the cross. And you're just thinking, these are things that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
And then I think it was just a culmination of everything. It just exploded, and I just lost it.
Yeah. Well, so much has gone on. We forgot to mention Chelsea as well.
Yeah.
So you were in. I can remember that very vividly, and I was like, "Please don't let John go. Please don't let John go." And I feel like it was Mark Schwarzer that almost saved us in the end, because he went and kind of filled the role that you may have filled. So was that as real? Was that going to happen? Because it seemed like from the speculation we were reading, that was pretty much nailed on.
It could have happened.
Yeah.
If I wanted it to, B, if Norwich agreed to it, and C, if Chelsea put an offer what Norwich wanted.
Okay.
I remember having the conversation. I was driving back from Cambridge to Norwich. I think it was just before pre-season started, and I pulled over in a petrol station. I phoned Chris, and I said, "Chris, obviously, like
Chris Hewton."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, "Look," I said, "I'm aware of Chelsea's interest. Obviously, I think they bid 7 million.
Wow. That's big money
For Norwich.
Yeah.
Huge money. Back then, it was it would have been a record for an English goalkeeper.
Bloody hell.
And I said, "Look," I said, "I'd like to talk to them."
Okay.
And he said, "Right, so you're telling me you want to leave?" I went, "No." I said, "I'd like to talk to them." I said, "This is an opportunity." I
So
said,
he pops, really? He pops at you for that?
well, he tries to make me say something I didn't want to say.
Yeah.
And he said,
Interesting.
And he said, you're telling me you want to leave? I said, "No, I'm not saying that." I said, "But this is Chelsea. This is a massive club. You know, Mourinho was there at the time. I think they just won the league title. And I was like, this is a huge opportunity. I said, think back to when you were a player. I was like, this is a massive chance. He said, look, if you want to tell me you leave or you want to go, you've got to hand in a transfer request. So I'm not doing that. I said, I will never do that. I said, what I'm saying to you is I would like to talk to them. He said, well, if you go to talk to them, he said, that's you telling me you want to leave. I said, no, I need to know from them.
Yes.
If they sign me, what my path is.
Yeah.
I said, because going back to the Everton days, I don't want to be back there.
Yeah.
And that was the reason. He said, well, if you go, you're not coming back. I said, you don't know that. I said, I might not like what they tell me.
Yeah.
I said, it's that situation. But he said, right. He said, if you want to hand in a transfer request, we will have no option. I said, I'm not doing that.
Because that's not going to look good from the fans looking.
But it wasn't anything to do with how it looked to the fans. It was me as the principles that I have.
Yeah.
Norwich gave me so much.
Yeah.
And listen, I've played with a number of players who have forced their way out of this club. And I was not going to do that because I didn't want to disrespect the club in that manner because they'd given me a platform to build on.
Good man.
And I said to Chris, I said, right, just promise him one thing. I said, if they come in with a deal that you deem is acceptable, you'll accept it.
Right.
I said, you and David between you, find out whatever figure you think is acceptable.
Yeah.
If they come back with that, I said, I'd like to accept it. He said, right, okay. He said, that's fair enough. I said, if they don't, I said, I've got no problem.
So you
I said,
haven't
I'm staying
chatted
the
to him
club.
at this point?
No.
But you've said if the offer comes in, you want to go?
Yeah.
Right.
And I said to him, I said, if you don't accept an offer, I said, you don't accept an offer. I said, I'm not going to come back and kick my toys and chuck my toys out of the pram. I said, I will get on with it. I will be as professional as I have been. I said, I will work as hard every day as I have done. I said, and we'll just move on. I said, it's not a problem. I said, but I want you to know what I'm thinking. He said, no problem at all. So I went back pre-season and we were flying out to Austria. My name wasn't on the itinerary to fly.
Wow.
Yeah. And I said, why isn't it? And I don't think they expected me to be there.
Right.
Wow.
But I was. And I turned
Interesting.
So how did you get out there then?
Well, they had to add me. I think.
Buy your own ticket.
But that's how it all happened. And, you know, I'd spoke to...
Is that a regret for you, John? Do you wish
No, I don't regret it.
wish that you'd gone to Chelsea?
No.
You're
I
happy
don't.
that you stayed in Norwich?
I made the decision, and I've always maintained this. And yeah, you look back on it and go, oh, it would have been nice to play for Chelsea. Financially, it would have been unbelievable. But I made the decision back then for the best. The best decision I made was for me and my family. I didn't want to, A, go back to where I was at Everton and B, sat on the bench and they were waiting for Courtois to come back from Atletico. So then I'd be third choice the season after.
Yeah.
I didn't want to uproot my family again because we were very settled in Norwich.
Yeah.
Kids had started school, and we'd always said, me and Laura have always said, once the kids start school,
Things need to be...
we have to be settled because
I
we're
like
not
that.
uprooting them again. And fundamentally, I didn't need to go. I was playing football week in, week out in the Premier League. I was involved in the England squads, and we were going into a Premier League season.
Yeah.
So why, you know, playing football has never been... I never started playing football to be rich. Never started it to go, I'm on X amount a week, I'm on this a week. That's just...
That's what comes.
Money comes with success.
Yeah.
This is what people need to understand. Money comes with success. If I wanted to be rich, I would have gone to Chelsea. And I would have never lifted a finger probably for the...
I was going to say, because...
that was 2014. I would have probably signed a 5-year deal and not lifted a finger.
Yeah.
You know? So
No, good man,
did I
I
need to
respect
do
you
that?
for
I
that,
didn't need to do that. I wanted to play football. I want to play football because I love my kids watching me play football. And, you know, it's a situation that at that time just didn't need to happen. And I didn't feel like I needed to leave. And I wasn't ever going to disrespect the manager of the club who was giving me near enough everything I had in life at that point by saying I want to leave.
Good man.
So this career is astonishing. So we're now back in the Championship under
Neil Adams.
We've talked about that Wolves game. Let's skip forward. Alex Neil comes in. That's a whirlwind. Wembley.
Yeah.
That, for me, ranks best moment in my Norwich City supporting career. That's got to be another dream. I mean, we're just ticking bucket listings off here, aren't we?
Yeah,
that was an unbelievable day.
And that was. I'd obviously been involved in the England squads and been to Wembley quite a few times, but that was my first time I got to play at Wembley. And like I said earlier, you know, the national anthems ring out, and the emotion hits you, and you have to try and keep that in check because you've got to play a game.
Yeah.
You know, you walk out the tunnel, you see half yellow, half red, and it's just an incredible, incredible day. And if you could guarantee promotion every year via the playoffs, that is how you want to do it.
And it was interesting, wasn't it? Because the whole playoff went perfectly, beating Ipswich, then just playing Borough off the park.
Oh yeah, talk about beating Ipswich. Go on. What was that like?
Well, which one?
But we wanted that. We wanted that game.
Did you?
We didn't want to play Brentford or Middlesbrough. We wanted Ipswich because we knew that would have been the easier tie. And that was the bottom line.
John, please give me more, John.
It was the easiest tie of the three we could have had.
Yeah.
So
it was. Yeah.
You know, and I thought we got the better of them twice that season. I think we drew one game. But I hadn't lost to Ipswich.
Neither most of the squads.
I've never lost to Ipswich.
Yeah, I've only seen 2 defeats in my lifetime, John.
Exactly. So the whole time I was at Norwich.
Yeah.
We never had a problem with them. We never felt threatened, never felt like they'd outplayed us in any game.
Yeah.
So it was the most logical game for us to play, again, as opposed to a really good Brentford team and a really, really good Middlesbrough team who, once they scored a first goal, it's hard to get back into the game.
Anyway, they're irrelevant. Playoff final.
Because we'd lost to Borough. We
lost twice.
I was scared going to that playoff final.
4-1 I think it was, and then 1-0 at home.
Yeah, they destroyed us at their place.
So what's the mindset going into Wembley? Because Middlesbrough were the favourites.
Yeah, but we prepared really, really well for that game.
Okay.
We went down the week before. We went down to the Grove at Watford for a couple of days, and we went to Wembley. Had a look around while it was empty, just so once you get there on the day, you're not in awe. Done really well. That was a masterstroke really from Ricky Martin and Alex Neil. That was brilliant. And then we get to Wembley. We stayed at the Hilton across the road.
Yeah.
So as soon as you wake up, you're in it.
Yeah.
You know, you open your curtains. There's fans everywhere.
Well, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And as soon as you see the fans outside, you're in the game already. You're thinking, yes, this is what we want. We got to the ground. I had to go through the Middlesbrough fans.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a couple of bottles getting chucked and everything. So, you know, we're on the bus and they're pelting the bus with whatever you want. And, you know, me, Russ, Bradley Johnson, Cameron Jerome all turning around going, this is the motivation we need.
Yeah, I love that.
You know, this is it.
I like that from you, John.
We get into the ground. I can't remember what time kickoff was. 3 o'clock, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it was just a normal 3 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah.
But Middlesbrough don't turn up until 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because they stayed at the Grove and they got caught in traffic.
I remember the bus being late for them.
So automatically you're going, these are in a rush. They're panicking. We go out, have a good warm up, come out, we're ready. Ready, 100%. And Alex Neil had said before the game, if we score the first goal, they're not winning this game. We're winning the game. And we'd known that because he put the stats up throughout the season. And when Middlesbrough conceded first, I think
they struggled.
I don't think they won a game once they conceded first. So we knew if we started well,
it did feel like we were in a rush. When we started that game, we were in a rush. We
used all the aspects of it. We used the intensity that we had, the fans pelting the bus, the fact that they turned up late, so they were a bit lethargic. The fact
Whittaker turned into Iniesta that day, didn't he?
And we were just on top of them from the start, and we got the 2 early goals, and it was plain sailing.
I've got a quirky one for you, John. I think there's something that we've not recognised with that Wembley win. First time Norwich City have worn tracksuit tops when walking out onto a pitch. There's that picture of you on the end on the left. I think you're on the end on the left in a tracky top. We're all by the way, those tracksuit tops, bring them back.
Yeah, nice.
Get them back for the last few games.
The old walkout jackets.
If you're listening, Webber, get them in.
Yeah, but they didn't do as much good the season after, did they?
True.
So now let's go on to that season.
Yeah.
You've been in the Prem before, and it was a fantastic start the previous time under Paul. What was different this time around? Because throughout that whole season, I always thought, watching, that we were going to survive. And we should have survived that season, I think. And for whatever reason, we didn't.
Yeah.
So what changed? Because it was, I think a lot of fans and a lot of journalists will look back at that and go, that was the season we should have really kicked on as a club. Yeah. Did it feel like that from the dressing room?
And that's arguably the most disappointing season that I've been involved in. It's hard to pinpoint, you know, there's many different factors. I think the fact that Alex Neil had come in and everything was based on having an intensity, you know, playing high up the pitch, and we actually started that season fairly well, if I remember.
We did. Ran Bournemouth off the park.
But because we were we were in people's faces.
Yeah.
You know, we started really
Yeah.
hard. We were aggressive from the off, and then we had a couple of bad results. And
Newcastle away.
Newcastle away was terrible.
Oof, yeah.
Terrible game.
Did things change from that point?
Yeah, because I
Mbok.
think sort of when maybe we can't do that.
Yeah.
Maybe we can't approach every game like that. And then we sort of sat back a little bit more and invited teams on, and then you do that in this league, you're going to find yourself in trouble. So yeah, it was just, it was a really disappointing. I can't put my finger on.
Was it the squad? There was a lot of quality in that squad on paper.
Well, I want to talk about Mbok. Talk about Mbok.
What can you say about
Mbokani.
him?
I mean, just talk about Mbokani.
He came training.
Yeah.
He left training while training was still going on.
Really?
Well, we used to be doing extra at the end, doing shooting sessions, and it'd just see him drive out.
He was a beast, wasn't
When
he?
he fancied it. When he
Okay.
fancied it, he was,
Okay.
but he didn't fancy it enough.
Right, okay.
I sense in your voice here that there was a few of them characters around that.
Yeah, I
that
think
year.
the changing
Okay.
room was probably a difficult changing room to manage, and you've got to remember I think we lost Jono that season as well.
Yeah,
pre-season,
we did.
Yeah.
which was a
Sold
massive
him,
loss.
yeah.
And I said to Alex,
It's
Neil,
almost you
I
and
wasn't-
Russ who are the big characters now.
Yeah, so I wasn't. It was really disappointing to lose Jono because he'd done brilliantly the season before, and he was an asset, you know. And I went to speak to Alex Neil and just said, look, I think it's a mistake. And he sort of said he wasn't going to play out wide for us,
No.
and he wasn't good enough to play in the middle for us.
Blimey.
And
I
he
listen to
wasn't going to get the games that he probably would have wanted or deserved from what he'd done last season. Plus the fact that, you know, there was good money on offer.
It was good
6-7
money.
million.
It was good money. That was
Yeah,
it, wasn't it? Yeah.
I sort of said, okay, I understand where you're coming from, but surely he's better in the squad to then come on as an impact, or you know, he might change your mind. You know,
Because the whole week is around, isn't it?
But we had Gary O'Neill in the squad, who,
Yeah.
you know, he's still playing now.
Yeah,
he's
he's
still
class,
running
isn't he?
rings around people at Bolton because his energy and the intensity he brings. But he wasn't meant to be a first team regular. He turned into one that season because of how he acquitted himself on the pitch and what he did in
What
training.
a chant for him, by the way.
Yeah.
Got a driving ban. Love that.
Yeah. So, you know, it was one of those. It was just a few things that went wrong, and everything just culminated.
And you mentioned earlier that you sensed that there was a different direction about the club.
Yeah.
Was it that coming to a head? Because it did feel at that stage, and I think I said it to Holty as well, it felt a little toxic around the club at that point, and then that goes into the fans and the players start to get the brunt of that. Did it feel like it wasn't a happy place to be at that point?
Yeah, I think it's just a frustration from everybody, and when people get frustrated, it gets to a certain point before they have to release. And you know, the fans, quite rightly, they paid their money, weren't happy with what they were seeing, weren't happy with what was going on. Us as players weren't happy with what was going on, and weren't happy with how we were performing as a team. But you know, Alex was working his socks off behind the scenes. You know, he was doing his in-depth tactics as ever, and really making sure he was thoroughly prepared, and we were as thoroughly prepared as we could be. But yeah, I just think without a real cohesion within the squad, you're always going to struggle. And I think that ultimately was what was our undoing that season.
And then the next season happened to be your final season.
Yeah.
Did you know that was going to be, so your contract ran out, didn't
Yeah.
it? Was there ever going to be a renegotiation?
No, I don't think so.
Right.
No, I don't
Did you
think so.
want
I
it?
think, yeah, I would have loved to have stayed.
Did you?
Yeah, I'd love to. I had an option. The club had an option to take my contract for another year, but they declined the option.
Never knew that.
Yeah. So they told us, I don't know, was there 7 of us?
Yeah, there's a lot.
I think they told us 4 weeks before the season finished.
Right.
Alan Irving was in charge at the time.
Yeah.
And they called us into the office and said, you know, you can either basically go on holiday now or you can stick around. I said, well, I'd like to stick around. I'd like to play. I was back in the team at the time. So I want to play. You know, I don't want to jump on my jollies at the minute. I said I want to play. I want to finish the job, if you like. You know, a couple of players decided that they didn't want to stick around. A couple of players decided they wanted to stay and train without being involved, not through their choice, but it was made clear that, okay, well, you can train with us, but we're probably not going to consider you for selection. It was like, okay, no problem. yeah. And
Was that a sour way to end what was a fantastic time at Norwich?
It was difficult in the sense that I can't answer this question without sounding arrogant.
I think you can, because you had a fantastic time at the club.
I never felt that I was ever really appreciated.
By
Norwich.
who?
By
Fans?
the club, by
Right.
the fans.
Okay.
I never felt there was I always think, when you think of Norwich City goalkeepers, you've always got your Kevin Keelans, your Brian Guns. Then you've got your Robert Greens, and a lot of people put Fraser in there, Angus in there from last year. And I always think I was always below those.
Right.
Where I think, okay, sounding arrogant, but I believe what I achieved at the club, whilst at the club, and what the club achieved whilst I was
Demanding
there,
more respect.
and what I achieved on a personal note, put me in those those top categories with those keepers.
Do you think that's a goalkeeper thing, though? Do you think goalkeepers are just appreciated less anyway, full stop?
It's not as
I
glamorous,
think
is
so,
it?
and I also think once something happens, like I get in an England squad or Chelsea bid X amount of money and there's interest there, people then look at it and go, right, well, let's see what he's got then. And the expectation goes from, oh, he's been really, really good for us.
Yeah.
Then it goes to, oh, he's not quite reaching that level now, is he? And it's like, yeah, but I was never reaching that level before. But just because I was getting recognised by different aspects, by England, by Chelsea or whoever, it was like people then all of a sudden expect more.
Just constantly expect that rise to continue.
And I think I expected more of myself, and I think I got so caught up in the fact that, I loved this club. I had a real passion for playing for this club, and it was, I saw Bradley Johnson leaving sort of summed it up. It was like, well, why are we going backwards?
Yeah.
I go now. Look, Jack.
The fans were angry with that. The fans were angry with that.
Yeah, no, they had
decision
every
to sell
right to
Bradley
be.
Johnson.
But I go training now, and my lad does training once a week at Colney. I was up there Friday, and you see what's happening around the place with the building work going on and the infrastructure that's being put in place. That's what I wanted 5 years ago. Yeah. That's what I was saying to Ricky Martin and David Manning. That's what we need. We need a proper base. Colney was 25 years out of date when we were training there. Where's the modernisation? You can't chuck porter cabins in and think, right, we're all rosy now. We're not. It's a porter cabin.
Yeah.
There's no. You can't paint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't paint over it. It's still a porter cabin. And now to see it now, it's like, great. The club are actually going, we're going to invest in the infrastructure.
Would you say you're a fan now?
Yeah, and it's been a lot better watching from the outside this season than it had been being involved in it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I think I've got to come in here though, John. You say that you're a bit disappointed and the fans didn't necessarily appreciate you, the club. I would agree that the club didn't. I think the fans did though. I think there was some grumpiness in the last season. When I first approached you to come on, I openly admitted that I was a bit grumpy with your performances in the last season, but in the same time, that season you had some wicked performances as well. So I think from a fan's point of view, they'll look back now and go, actually, bloody hell, me and Jack said it, guess who we got on? John bloody Ruddy.
Yeah.
It's always after
It was
you look back
consistency.
and go.
It was the consistency, the promotions, the leadership. So I wouldn't
Yeah, but I
beat
think
yourself up. So.
no, but I think if you look at it now, and I think if you went and asked, I don't know, 1,000 fans at the ground, and gone, right, who do you think's better, Tim Krul or John Ruddy?
I know what my answer would be.
I think a lot of fans would say Tim.
No way.
And,
You're wrong.
or go and ask them who they think better, Angus or John Ruddy.
Yeah,
I think
they might say Angus then.
Yeah, but I think that's because of what Angus is going to be.
Yes.
Correct.
It's not, and
Correct.
it's the same as Fraser when Fraser was here. It's
Correct.
because of what Fraser did afterwards.
Yes, mate. Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, but wait a minute, I did that, but I did it with Norwich.
Yeah.
I
Premier
played
League.
for England.
Yeah.
I played 243 games. I played
Yeah.
110, I think, in the Premier League for Norwich.
I think the reason
I wanted this club to rise with. I didn't want to leave this club because I felt it was on upward curve.
But you did what you could, John.
Yeah.
You got us to the Prem twice.
Yeah, I could do.
And kept the squad together, arguably, in times of dire straits. So
but
surely as a goalkeeper, you did all you could.
But then I would say at the same time, there was probably myself and Russ were in the same boat where we were like, we're trying to drive the club on, and it was like, we're pushing, one way and everyone else is pushing back.
Everyone else meaning the structure or
Just
the
there was
fans?
there was just always a resistance from the club to take that next step.
Yeah.
And we were always scapegoat. Look, me and Russ were always a scapegoat. I don't think you could deny that.
No, I'm not, mate.
I think
I agree.
once
I
you
agree
get
entirely.
and you're at a club for a certain amount of time, it's an
You're
easy target. Easy target. And like I said earlier, there was many players who just didn't care. There was many players who wanted to leave, who forced their way out, and you know, we were always left with the crap. You know, you're talking about the players that come in who were different to what we were used to. We get relegated, they leave, we're left with it. We're left to pick up the pieces and try and drive it up and again. And I think that's where the frustration from my point comes in. And I think it started to then affect my performances because I'm thinking, why aren't the club? Like I said, what they've done now at Colney is incredible. It's brilliant. It's great to see. But where was that 5 years ago? Because then you could go, this is it. We're putting building blocks in place for that foundation to be there. So if we're not here, we're not here. But people will come into the same environment that we've been used to. You know, I remember having a conversation with Alex Neil about signings, and him saying that he just couldn't attract players to Norwich.
Really?
Because it was too far from London. The training ground wasn't good enough. It was just too quiet. There was no shopping. It was all of these different things that.
Did you buy that?
Yeah, I did. I can imagine that was the case. Yeah, but then you have to realise what you've got to work with and try and get the best out of that. And I don't think we ever really got the best out of the club as a whole.
You love Norwich, don't you?
Yeah, I love the club. I love the city. I love the people. You know, this is home. This is my home. This is where I will live once I've finished playing football. I will live in Norwich. You know, I'd love to. Russ said he's wanted to be the manager here for the last 10 years. I'd love to be his goalkeeping coach. You know, I don't want to be
Get
manager.
the band back together.
I don't want to be manager. I don't want to be a coach. Give me some gloves. Give me a ball, and I'll smash some balls at goalkeepers. That'll do me.
Yeah, good man.
But you know, this is home. This is my family's home. This is where we've raised our family. So, you know, it means a lot to me. And I think, like I said, it's been so much easier. Even last season was difficult because we were in the same league.
Yeah.
But it was this season, watching from afar, and just a sense of pride that they're doing so well. And you know, I'll be the first to admit, when Stuart Webber came in, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure that the structure was going to work. I wasn't sure he could take what he did at Huddersfield and bring it here.
Yeah.
And I certainly wasn't sure it was going to work as soon as it has.
Yeah.
But absolutely full credit to him.
In terms of players this season, John, who's been a player in this current Norwich City squad that you've gone, wow, what a player?
I think, wow, what a player would be Buendia. But the one I'm most pleased with is Ben Godfrey.
Okay.
100%. He came in, 17-year-old kid, thick as two planks, came from York.
Sorry, Ben.
Came down, all right, lad, how are you getting on? You're all right. And he came with a desire, and he used to run through people in training. And we used to have to tell him a few times that just
calm
easy
down
on the tackles.
Really?
Because he was just that enthusiastic.
He's a G unit as well, isn't he?
He is. And he's everything you need in a team. He adds that bite, that grit, that determination. And that's how he's been. That's not been installed in him from anybody. That's how he came to the club.
So you're not surprised that he's been in the squad, smashing it?
No. And I always thought he'd do really well. You know, I always say, with footballers, you can always improve their technical ability, but you can't improve their mentality. And Ben's mentality would always get him further than people would think. And his technical ability has improved massively since he started. And I think it's a testament to him. It's a testament to his mentality, how he and where he wants to be, that he's kicked on the season. And it's a testament to Daniel Farker for putting him in, because at the end of the day, you've got Ben Godfrey and Zimmerman keeping two international centre-halves out of the team.
Yeah.
And
do you get a kick out of that? Do you prefer, when you're watching Norwich now, do you find it more exciting watching the defence, or do you love watching Emi Buendia tearing people up top?
I love watching Norwich when they're attacking. And the game that sticks in my mind is Leeds away. Because me and Benno were watching it, we were at the hotel and we were watching it and just going, it's like men versus boys.
Yeah.
Because Leeds were so naive, so arrogant to an extent, where they just thought, we're going to just go wide open and try and play round and through. And Norwich just went, all right, well, we're going to stay tight.
Let's
we're going to nick
dance.
the ball and we're going to run right through you.
Yeah.
They'd done it 3 times and scored 3 goals.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was almost as if Norwich just went, right, we're going to sit in here and when we want the ball, we're going to come and take it off you.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. And Leeds just had no answer for it.
Yeah.
And then, like I said earlier, the Swansea game the other week was a complete reverse of that.
Yeah.
Where it's going, right, we're not actually playing that well. You know, nothing's coming off for us. We're struggling going forward. So actually, we're just going to really frustrate you. We're going to let you think you're having a bit of joy. Wait until you open up, and then we're just going to go through you again. And they did it, and they ground out a 1-0 result.
Are we winning this league?
100%.
Yes,
John.
John.
You can't not see
Yes.
it. I can't not see it. You've got Middlesbrough next. You've got 8 games left. You win 3 games.
You're right.
For me, 3 games and you finish, because it's a 2-game swing anyway.
You think? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Who's coming up with us?
Sheffield.
Okay.
Agreed.
Sheffield, yeah.
Okay.
I think there's a part 2 to be had in this
Oh
podcast.
my God, yeah.
I honestly
They'll
do.
come back in 10 years. And the rest of us
No, I honestly do. John, thanks so much, mate,
No,
for
pleasure.
coming on.
Thank you.
It's been a real pleasure.
Took
man.
up an
Cheers,
And
absolute
what a great career.
couple of hours of your time there. Sorry, guys. I hope you don't watch the whole thing. Sorry.
Thanks so much for watching. Tune in again next week. We'll see who we've got on. Anything to plug? Someone normally has got something to plug.
Message to the Norwich fans?
No, just keep up the support. It's been brilliant this year. And yeah, keep riding that wave. I would say it doesn't happen often, but it fairly does.
Keep riding that
Good
wave.
stuff.
John Ruddy, 2019.
Good stuff, guys.